Today we are talking all things Update 19.1 for 7 Days to Die. Now we've got a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. 7 Days to Die has recently released the stable version of Alpha 19.1. While this update is not the most extensive update that 7 Days to Die has ever released, it did have some key changes. So today we are going to go through the major changes and updates for Alpha 19.1. The first major change that we need to discuss is a really good one, and one that I've been asking the Fun Pimps to do for a while now, and that is the extended tool belt. You will notice that we now have 10 full slots in our tool belt. This allows us to carry more items. That is awesome. Alpha 19 introduced a new critical hit system. The zombie jerks now have the ability to give you criticals. They can cause concussions, abrasions, deep lacerations, fatigue, and broken bones. Now the concept is really cool. The ability for the zombie jerks to be able to cause different injuries is kind of cool. Before, it used to be that they could make you bleed and you'd use a bandage, you're good to go. But now the critical hit system changes that dramatically. While the critical hit system does make the game a little bit more interesting because it diversifies the injuries that you can receive, it also makes the game more difficult. That is because each critical injury takes a specific medical item in order to cure. You need vitamins to cure fatigue. You need painkillers to cure concussions and to restore hit points. You need sewing kits to cure deep lacerations. You need a splint or a cast to cure broken bones. This means you need to take up more of your inventory space in order to have everything you need to cure these critical hits. So yes, the critical hit system is a welcome change. It's pretty cool, but on the flip side, it takes a lot more resources to be prepared. Unfortunately, the Fun Pimps did not give us the ability to carry more items. So they threw all of these extra critical chances and critical hits at us that take specific resources in order to cure, but they did not bump up the inventory space that allows us to carry those items without negatively impacting our looting ability. Well, it looks like with Alpha 19.1, the Fun Pimps are finally starting to listen. They did actually increase the tool belt to 10 slots. That gives us 2 additional slots to carry items. Now, this is a great start and a very welcome change. I would like to see the Fun Pimps increase the backpack storage as well. The tool belt is a good start. Having those extra 2 slots is awesome, but considering all of the extra stuff that we need to carry, critical hit system stuff, as well as the new candies, it would be nice to have more backpack space as well. So hopefully in the not too distant future, the Fun Pimps will actually add more inventory space to our backpack. But like I said, the extra 2 slots in the tool belt, that is an awesome change, and I am very glad that they actually finally added that to the game. The next change we want to talk about is the ladder system. Ladders have been a pain in my backside for the longest time. I would try to jump up and start climbing a ladder, and I would fall down over and over and over again. Or you accidentally hit the wrong button, and you fall from the very top all the way down and break your leg. It was a pain, man, and could be extremely frustrating. So the Fun Pimps have been doing a lot of work with the ladder systems, not only for the players, but also for the zombie jerks. Their AI with regards to ladders is supposedly a lot better. I haven't done a lot of extensive testing with regards to that. Maybe I will do a video in the future testing that out, but for now we're just going to cover the basics of the changes they've made to ladders. So real quick, let me pick up this hay bale and let me demonstrate the changes they made to just the ladder itself. So before, when you would run up, you would have to run up and hit the jump button in order to jump onto the ladder. And a lot of times, if you weren't actually in the block with the ladder, when you would jump, you would just automatically fall down. You wouldn't actually grab onto the ladder. So for instance, right now I am 2 blocks away from the ladder here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run and we're going to make a jump here. And normally, before this update, you would hit the ladder and just slide back down. You wouldn't actually start climbing the ladder. What it did is it did not recognize you trying to attach to the ladder until you were actually jumping inside the block that the ladder occupied. Now they have changed that, so if you jump into a ladder, you will actually cling to the ladder. Really cool change. change, and it'll solve a lot of my frustration, let me tell you. So let me demonstrate this. So we're gonna back up, we're going to run and jump, boom, and I, boom, automatically stick and can start climbing. Whereas before, you would actually have to be in the block where the ladder was located in order to jump onto the ladder. Much, much better. Now, let's do this real quick. Let me get rid of this ladder here. So now the ladder is 2 blocks high. I'm not in the block with the ladder. So normally, you would have to jump, and you'd have to pretty much double tap the jump button in order to catch onto the ladder, and it only happened like half the time. It was really annoying. Sometimes you could actually jump into the ladder and you'd be good to go. Sometimes you would have to double jump in order to actually cling to the ladder. It was really, really annoying. Now, just one single jump, and boom, I am on the ladder. I'm not moving at all. All I did was just jump, and I am, boom, stuck to the ladder. Now I can go ahead and climb up, and I can climb down, no problem whatsoever. Awesome, awesome change, and I am very glad that the Fun Pimps finally got around to fixing the ladder system. The next change in Alpha 19 that we want to discuss is the change to the hay bale. In previous alphas, if you had a hay bale placed directly beneath a ladder, it would not work. It would not mitigate any of the damage. For some reason, it would treat the hay bale like a regular block. So it would be like falling all the way down here and hitting concrete or steel. You would not believe how many times I have broken my leg because I placed the hay bale directly under the ladder. Took me a while to realize, oh, okay, that doesn't work. You used to have to leave an extra space right here. So you would have to remove this ladder here in order for the hay bale to work and break your fall without breaking your leg. But now with this latest update, they have changed that. So this hay bale does actually provide you damage. But because of the other changes to the ladder, it really, there's no way to really fall completely onto this hay bale. That's because it is connected to the ladder. So let me show you here real quick. I'm gonna jump up, I'm gonna go up, and I'm gonna start falling. They made the ladders very clingable. So once you enter or the same block as a ladder, you actually start to slow. So you can just jump off here and aim towards the ladder, and you notice, boom, as soon as I enter that space, it halts my momentum and I fall. So if we keep falling, once we enter down here, there's really no way to fall directly onto the hay bale. So yeah, I guess it is really fixed. So you can fall, and if you do actually hit this block here, you are going to take less damage. It's really kind of moot now because of the changes to the ladders. You're not actually going to be falling directly down. So unless, here, let's do this. Ah, there we go. That'll do it. So if you jump off the ladder but don't move, so let's go to the top here, and I'm going to jump off the ladder or hit the jump button to let go of the ladder. And boom. Okay, there we go. That was a good way to demonstrate it. But again, generally speaking, you're not going to have to worry about that. But in previous alphas, if you were to do this and fall all the way down, boom, you'd break your leg and it would be a pain in the butt. That's because it treated this block here like a solid block. So that is another great fix, being able to put your hay bales at the very bottom of a ladder. So just in case you do accidentally hit that jump button and fall, you're good to go. However, if you are at the top and you jump off, all you have to do is just get close enough to the ladder and you will actually just connect right back onto the ladder, and it'll automatically slow down your momentum. So that was another awesome addition to the ladder system. They've really done some good work with regards to the ladders. Now, before we move on to the next change in Alpha 19.1, I want to take this opportunity to remind you that if you find this video helpful and or enjoyable and would like to see more, join the Sav Nation by clicking that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single one of our tutorial videos. I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. But now, let's get back to it. The next change we want to talk about has to do with switches. Now, if we take a look, I've got a couple of switches set up here. I've got my generator up there. It's turned on, gassed up, good to go. And you will notice the difference between the switches. I don't have my wire tool out. Previously, in order to tell if switches had power, you would have to have your wire tool out and you would have to hover over the item to see if it was getting power. If it was yellow and said 1W yellow, then you knew it was getting power. If it was gray, then you knew it was not getting power. However, they have made a small change to the switches that is actually really cool. If you look at this switch here, you'll notice the little light down here is off. But if you look at this switch here, the one that's tied directly to the generator, you'll notice that the light is red. It is actually on. Now, if we turn this light switch on, this one turns green, saying that not only is there power, but it's also turned on. And now if we take a look at this one, it has turned to red. So now you can tell if the switch has power without having to hold your wire tool. Really small change, but actually a really cool one. And again, we can turn that one on, boom, the light turns green. Now if we turn this one off, boom, this one turns off as well. And you can tell whether or not this switch is getting power. If this were getting power, this light would be on, but because this light is not on, you know it is not getting power. That can save you a whole lot of headaches and a whole lot of confusion down the road. Again, it's a small change, it's a minor change, kind of a cosmetic change, but it actually is really cool and can save you a lot of headaches and a lot of frustration. The next change in Alpha 19.1 is the addition of new zombie types. We have the zombie businessman, a brand new zombie utility worker, and of course the brand new zombie stripper. I think they're going to actually change her name from stripper to like nightclub zombie or something like that. This is the one that everyone's been getting excited for, and I'm pretty sure it's apparent why. So I'm not going to spend too much time discussing why people were excited about the new model. I think you could probably figure that out for yourself. So yes, the new stripper is in the game, and she is an interesting addition to 7 Days to Die. The zombie businessman is actually really cool. He's got a really nice suit. He's all cut up. The blood on the zombie looks pretty darn cool as well. The old zombie businessman did not look nearly as good as the new HD version here. So that was a really good addition. The utility worker, however, is pretty much just a clone of the janitor. They changed a little bit of the shading, different colors, slapped a vest onto him, put a hard hat on him, and that's pretty much it. He's pretty much just a clone of the new janitor zombie. Not as impressive as the businessman, but he definitely does look a whole lot better than the old utility worker. And the new stripper zombie, well, what can you say, folks? Definitely has improved physics, I guess you could say. But I do like some of the wounds that are apparent. The blood down the leg, the bite marks and that kind of thing. Those are really cool. And yes, of course, the advanced physics. Those are pretty cool as well. But we're not going to focus too much time on the new stripper zombie. I think it's safe to leave it there. It is a very interesting addition. So yeah, I'll just say interesting. Yeah, let's just leave it at interesting. Now, apparently they have also made an update to the cop. Supposedly, his vomit or his spit attack is more accurate. Previously, they pretty much had a terrible time of aiming. You could dance around these guys and never really have to fear their spit. The only thing you had to fear with their spit is if you just stood there, which, you know, in any kind of survival game, you don't just stand there when facing an enemy. So apparently these guys can now have better aim. I haven't tested this yet. We're actually going to test this out together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up a little bit here. I'm going to turn on his AI. We're going to let him stumble towards us, and we are going to get him to spit. And look at that. Nice. He hit us the very first time. So let's try that again. Okay. Now I'm going to get him to spit, and I'm going to move around a little bit. All right, so yes, he is much more accurate. That is actually cool. You can still dodge the spit, which you should be able to dodge the spit. It shouldn't be a direct attack, but he will actually, let me get him to spit one more time here. He actually will aim and actually hit you. If you do not move, he will hit you. That was not the case in previous versions. He actually was very, very bad at aiming. You could be standing there and the spit would go way off to your left or way off to your right. Now, he will actually spit and the vomit will go to where you were standing the moment that he actually spit. So I dodged it right there at the very end. So that is cool. And the last update that I want to touch on today has to do with bears. In previous version, the ragdoll of these guys when they died was ridiculous. Trying to harvest these guys could be a pain in the butt because they would just dance and jiggle and fly all over the place. Same was true with the cops. The cops, when you killed them, they would go flying, and the ragdoll was just ridiculous. But it was extremely, extremely frustrating and annoying with regards to the bears, because you'd go up to harvest these guys, you'd stab them with your knife, and they go flying off and start jiggling, and oh man, it was crazy, and can make harvesting these guys a pain in the you-know-what. So apparently they fixed that, and now the ragdoll and that jiggle effect is supposedly a lot less. So I went ahead and brought in a bear here, took him down. We're gonna harvest it up and see if that effect is actually lessened or if he still will jiggle and dance around like he did before. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. He's not moving at all. Oh, much, much better. In previous alphas, that bear, once I hit him with my machete here, he would have jumped up in the air, flipped over, flopped, and it was a pain in the you-know-what. But now they have actually fixed that. That is an excellent, excellent update. Again, a small one, but a good one. Alpha 19.1 did introduce a few changes to 7 Days to Die. However, most of these changes are cosmetic or very minor. They were meant to fix some things that caused players frustrations and that kind of thing. But there were no major eye-opening, oh my gosh, I can't believe they finally did this, updates in 19.1. While the changes to the ladder system and the switches, the extra slots on the tool belt, the new HD versions of the zombies, and some minor tweaks to Ragdoll are all welcomed changes, they are relatively minor. Unfortunately, it does look like we are going to have to wait until Alpha 20 before we get any major content updates. From everything I've read online to the statements from the Fun Pimps themselves, it looks like from here on out, Alpha 19 is mainly going to be getting these types of changes. Cosmetic changes, fixing small things that annoy players, that kind of thing. Major content updates are not going to be coming until Alpha 20. Now that is understandable, but it is at the same time disappointing. However, I'm not gonna let that stop me. I still love this game and think it is the best survival crafting game on the market today, and I will continue to release tutorials for 7 Days to Die. Speaking of tutorials, I've created a very special playlist of tutorials that I think you would enjoy. You can access that list by clicking the box in the top right corner of the screen. But for now, this is Saven saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in Saven's World. And remember, the average gamer is always king of the hill on the bell curve.